Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, October 10. If you're watching live on Monday, October 10, we encourage you to call in if you have comments or questions. Our call-in number is 769-1677. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 24, 2 weeks from today at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7. A bunch of announcements to make. First is, several days ago, I attended the ribbon cutting of the new dormitory Elm Hall at Pace University. That is the last major piece of a $100 million campus enhancement program that Pace has undertaken and built over the last several years. I think a lot of you are aware that Pace had a residential arrangement that was split between its Pleasantville campus and its Briarcliff campus. Pace has now assembled enough dorm space on their Pleasantville campus with 2 major new dorms so that everybody who is a residential student at Pace lives on the Pleasantville campus, and they have essentially closed down and plan to sell the Briarcliff campus. So I have my numbers, I think, about right, which is that at the moment there are something like 1,350 students who live on the Pace Pleasantville campus, and that's give or take roughly half the total undergraduate population. So it was an impressive project, and also the capstone project to Pace's redevelopment that saw substantially enhanced athletic fields and facilities, a new field house, a new football stadium, an entirely new environmental center, 2 new dorms, big enhancement of the Kessel Campus Center, and a substantial landscape improvement. So congratulations to Pace. They obviously are a key piece of the Pleasantville world. It's actually a few blocks outside the village of Pleasantville in the town of Mount Pleasant, but Pace is very much tied to downtown Pleasantville, and we view them as very good friends. They have been generous to us in the past. Happy day. Glad to see this enhancement. It certainly is a campus that has been radically improved, and I encourage everybody to drive on over and take a look. As I've mentioned a couple of times in the past, everybody should pay attention to the ongoing progress we're making with the master plan. We've hired BFJ Planning of New York City. There have been 2 public workshops, and there will be a series of public discussions here at the board meeting in the course of the fall as we start to look at new ideas, mostly focused on the downtown. That engages the question of zoning codes, maximum building heights, maximum density, the appropriateness or lack thereof of additional residential downtown or of potential parking structures downtown. All of this leads up to the adoption of a master plan that we imagine to happen sometime near the end of the year. So keep an eye out for it. If you're interested in that subject, you can go to the pleasantville-ny.gov website, left-hand column, click on master plan. There are a bunch of documents there that would be of interest to you. And if you are not already signed up for the village board agendas, you should do that as well. You can also do that at pleasantville-ny.gov. That will allow you to choose the agendas you want to get, and in this particular case, get village board agendas, and you'll see in your email box when the master plan is up for adoption. So it's a very interesting project, and one that has some potential to have significant impacts on the downtown and in the adjacent areas. So we encourage everybody to keep an eye, not only to have their opinion and interests represented, but also to contribute your idea of how the future should look. A couple of basic announcements going on. The library book sale is accepting donations. The sale is going to happen October 27 to 31. Book donations on the lower level of the library are being accepted up until Monday, October 24. The folks over at the recycling committee, as they have in past years, have set up the Spooktacular Halloween costume swap. It's a fantastic program. On Saturday during the farm market, this coming Saturday, October 15, and the next Saturday, October 22nd, in the gazebo at Memorial Plaza from 8:30 to 1. Everybody's encouraged to bring gently used Halloween decorations and clean costumes and go home with something new. Bring something, take something. You can bring Harry Potter and go home with Dracula, whatever it might be. People have had a great success there. It's a great way to get stuff out of your closet that you're finished with. If you can't be there but would like to donate something, you can also bring your costumes over to the rec center anytime between now and October 14. That's at 48 Marble Avenue. And lastly, any costumes that get donated and don't get picked up by somebody else will be donated, as they have in the past, to Blythedale Children's Hospital. So this falls into the category of a win-win for absolutely everybody, and we encourage you to get involved. The last weekend in October is Halloween, the annual Ragamuffin Parade, and as always, the Tina Gambino 5K Memorial Run Walk, Saturday, October 29. Fantastic project, a fantastic charity. Go to tinagambino.org. That will allow you to link up to the registration. So we encourage everybody to head on over to sign up for that, and if you can't run or walk, you can sign up to support it there as well. Anybody else have?
I do. I just want to remind everybody that on our homepage, there is on the left-hand side a place for you to click on volunteer, and there's all the boards and committees that we have, and if you're interested in stepping up, I just really urge everybody to do that, especially now with our comprehensive plan in the discussion of our comprehensive plan. Because I actually had somebody come up to me last week or 2 weeks ago and say, what are they building on Washington Avenue? It was Toll Brothers. I said, and they're like, when did you approve that? like 3 years ago. So it's like, it's really important, and there's a lot going on in town, in the village. Key Food is finally kind of, be ready to do all of the improvements there, and a really, really huge facelift, which will be really great. It's always great to have your own market in your village close by, so that would be a really big improvement. But there's a lot going on Washington Avenue. There's a lot of development. That corner lot there is looking really good, and then the future development of all of those along there are happening too. And all of these are in front of our various boards and committees, and those are public meetings. You can certainly go and find out what they're doing, and if you have something to say, you have a voice, and please use it. One building that's always been a concern to a lot of residents is 98 Washington Avenue, which is kind of across from the fire department, the building that's been vacant since it was built. That is now in front of the Architectural Review Board, and I think that people would be it would be in people's best interest to go and find out what they're going to do with that building. It was bought by the county for a pretty good sum of money, and then it was sold to a developer for $1 to put in 14 affordable units there, and they were also given a subsidy to build those units. And now they're in the process of designing it. So the architect had presented plans to the Architectural Review Board last meeting, and they're going to be coming back up again. Our building inspector, Robert Hughes, is very active with this applicant. There's a lot of pressure to get building permits in by the end of the year for the county's affordable housing settlement.
Pressure.
Just a little pressure. So, you don't want to see something rushed along. You want to see the right building in that location. So there is a lot happening. Please check the Architectural Review Board agendas. They're public. They're posted on our website. Those meetings are public. The zoning board and the planning board. And you can sit there and have a part in the development of your village. And it's really, really important that you get out and not maybe come up to one of us a year from now when they're doing something right next to you that you don't know is going on, and you're devastated. That's not what we want. We want everybody to be happy. So get involved, go online, right on our webpage, pleasantville-ny.gov, and on the left-hand side there's a little bar. It says volunteer, and just if you can, do what you can do to be a part of it, or just go to a meeting.
And on that point, even if you're not going to volunteer, you can sign up to get agendas for the zoning board, the planning board, our board, the architectural review board, and you'll get an email that will say this week's agenda, and it'll tell you what's on the agenda. Look it over. If there's something of interest to you, just come out to the board meeting and listen or speak.
That's right.
It's easy. It's really easy, and you'll know more about what's going on in the village just by looking at those emails and agendas. So sign up for them.
Add to that, and maybe Patty, you could just fill people in on this. We're about to launch Novus Agenda on a test basis, which is, I think, a substantially enhanced online agenda system. So why don't you fill
Yeah, we'd be happy to. We expect to have it piloted, I think, at our next board meeting. So,
Judy's like, okay, if that's what you want.
well, we've actually spent a lot of time, in the weeds with it, so to speak, working with the people behind Novus to try to get ourselves comfortable navigating the system. But once we do launch that, it will be a public viewer, so people can look at our agendas online. They can click on any particular agenda item, get all of the backup material that the board sees for that item, and then eventually we'll have some history built into that, because as items reoccur or as items refer to documents and plans, all of that will be, culled and brought up into, that particular folder, for the board meeting. So we think it gives people, obviously more information. It'll answer questions that people don't necessarily have answers to when they look at the agenda to wonder, if it says block party request, well, where is that block party? If it's a local law, amending vehicle and traffic, certain section, well, what is that all about? So there'll be more history, to the resolutions, and it'll just be a better way to deal with communicating.
So it'll take us a little while to roll it out fully, but the intention, assuming it goes well with the first rollout of the village board, is to include planning, zoning, and the architecture review board in a similar setup, and that has been a setting in which, although you could take a look at the agenda, you couldn't see the backup matter very easily. So
right. Planning is ready; they're ready to roll.
Right.
They're a little ahead of us
Right.
with the rollout. I think they'll start this month.
So all of those things echo everything everybody said, and thank you for that, Mindy. The one thing I did want to say is I just wanted to reassure people that something can't happen right next door to you at planning or zoning without notification, because there is a notification requirement that requires certified letters for people when a zoning variance or a site plan approval is going to happen in a property with a certain radius of view. So that piece of it is in place, but certainly the bigger picture, it would be great to think that everybody paid a little more attention. Anybody who has an interest trying to create ways like the Novus Agenda system where you can quickly scan through something, and if it looks like it's something of interest, you can dig into it a little bit further. So
I'd like to just add about Pleasantville Strong, which is our coalition here in Pleasantville to try and reduce underage drinking and drug use. We're having a parent forum on Wednesday, October 26th at 7 o'clock. A really wonderful presentation. Dr. Alicia Murray, who's a psychiatrist here from town, and one of her patients, his name is Michael Ahern. He's a young 25-year-old man from Briarcliff who has faced a serious addiction and has worked his way back and now spends his time speaking to students. So they'll be around to do their presentation and then answer questions and answers from both our kids and parents. So we invite you to attend. Again, that's October 26th. And if you have want any more information, our website is pleasantvillestrong.org.
great, thank you for that.
I have a quick one. So also on the website, and we've talked about this quite a bit, is the sign up for the Code Red system. And as everybody knows, we just had a near miss by Hurricane Matthew, but several states south of us, Florida, North and South Carolina, and parts of Georgia, they did not get missed by Matthew. And so we were fortunate up in this neck of the woods, but I'm involved in some of that stuff in another life. And this was the first major storm that was in those areas after various versions of Code Red-like things were installed in various municipalities, and it came up. It was cited as a major advantage for the ability of municipalities to get information out to their inhabitants quickly that reduced fatalities, reduced damage to homes, reduced the ability or the inability of police to get to people when they needed to get to them. So we saw in the sort of national emergency response world real-life value to these kinds of social notification systems. I don't really know what they're even called.
Alert system.
A social
Yep.
alert system. So if you haven't signed up for our Code Red system, please do so. It can make a tremendous amount of difference if we need to get information out to people, even as mundane, and if you will, as what roads are closed and where people need to move in order to avoid the worst of whatever we may be trying to deal with. So again, we haven't talked about it for a while, but I wanted to reiterate that it played a major role in several municipalities down south during the hurricane, and if you haven't signed up for it yet, it is on the left-hand side of our website under Code Red. We will not sell it, rent it, provide that information to anybody else. It only stays with us, and we only use it in emergencies. But it's a good thing to do. That's it.
Thank you. Any other announcements? So before we head to our regular resolutions, I wanted to report what I think many in the community already know, and that is that at our board meeting after we had an executive session last week, we voted to accept the resignation of our police chief, Richie Love, who intends to retire after many years of service to the village effective November 1. So Richie has been patrolman, sergeant, lieutenant, and then chief, rising through the ranks of the village of Pleasantville. He will be retiring effective November 1. Lieutenant Eric Grutzner, who has been with us, I think, for 22 years, a similar story as a patrolman, then a sergeant, then a lieutenant, has served as acting chief for the last some months while Richie was out, and he, effective November 1, will become our new police chief. So congratulations to Eric Grutzner. We look forward to his strong leadership of the Pleasantville Police Department, and we offer our good wishes to Richie in his retirement after many years of service to the village of Pleasantville. With that, to the resolutions, Steve, 168.
Resolved that pre-check register dated October 10th, 2016, covering check numbers 3018 through 3077 and 84531 through 84546 has been reviewed, and they are hereby approved as listed below. From the general fund, the water fund, the capital fund, and the refuse fund, a total of $281,075.62.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions on the check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Mindy, 169.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village clerk to notice a public hearing for Monday, October 24th, 2016, at 8 p.m., 80 Wheeler Avenue, Pleasantville, to hear comments as it pertains to amending the village code. Chapter 173, Vehicle and Traffic, Section 173-60, Parking Prohibited at All Times, and Section 173-72, Special Purpose Parking Zones as follows. For Section 173-60, parking prohibited at all times on Tompkins Avenue on the east side from Vermillion Street to Martling Avenue. To delete that and to add Tompkins Avenue on the east side from Vermillion Street to Sunnyside Avenue. And then the special Section 173-72, special purpose parking zones. On Academy Street on the west side, there are currently 3 handicap parking spaces from a point 244 feet north of Bedford Road to a point 304 feet north of Bedford Road, to add 4 handicap parking spaces from that same location.
Is there a second?
Second.
Patty, you want to describe the
Yes,
reasons for these 2 changes?
I'd be happy to. On Tompkins Avenue, as many people know, there's a lot of activity in the vicinity of the Athletes Warehouse, as well as the tennis table facilities. And what we've seen happen in recent months is a lot of parking taking place on the east side of that street from Martling down towards Sunnyside, and the road just can't accommodate that geometrically. It's a very tight paved surface there, and there's a bend in the road. It's creating some conflicts for people who are walking and people who are driving. So that is the only stretch of the east side where parking is currently not regulated. We're suggesting we regulate the entire length of the east side. So from Bedford Road all the way down to the Sunnyside.
The east side being the side
Underpass.
with the table tennis center.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that there'd be no parking on that side at all. The second issue is an issue that was brought to our attention and in consultation with the Pleasantville Union Free School District Superintendent and some staff at the Bedford Road School. I'm taking this under their advice that we could use one additional handicap space on Academy Street. So this will essentially present that opportunity.
And so the public hearing is next week for those two items.
Yes, I'm going to suggest, though, we just change that to 8:30, simply because we will be having a work session preceding the meeting on the 24th. It'll probably run a little late, because BFJ is coming for the
Okay.
master plan work session, so we'll make it
So-
an 8:30 hearing.
I'm the mover.
Okay.
8:30.
8:30 instead of 8, okay with the seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Colleen.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Lincoln Square Productions to film a segment of their show, What Would You Do, at Jean-Jacques on October 25, 2016, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this is backed up by the standard film permit application. This is taking place entirely inside Jean-Jacques?
Yes, and I believe it was done once before.
It was.
And it went rather well. We really didn't even know about it the last time it was done. But we have all the paperwork in order, so we're comfortable with approving it.
Okay, any questions, comments?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Joe, 171.
Scrolling to it, 171. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments. $55,983 transfer to capital DPW equipment for a chipper. For accounts for the water fund, $5,750 from water administration software upgrade / meter reading, $16,000 from water transmission and distribution / meter reading, and $50,000 from water transmission and distribution / meter maintenance, for a total of $71,750. And transfers from the revenue account capital fund to expenditure account capital fund, $55,982.66 as an interfund transfer from the general fund to DPW equipment for a chipper, and $2,704 from sidewalk 50/50 program to capital sidewalk project, for a total of $58,686.66.
Is there a second?
Second?
So, Patty, I'm confused about how this is written.
What we're doing here is setting up a capital in order to transfer money in.
I see.
To buy the chipper.
Yes.
We're
So it's
also
going
setting-
from the general fund into capital and then from capital to the expenditure account?
Correct.
Okay.
And then with respect to the sidewalk money, we're just accepting money that came in on a 50/50 program, putting that into capital. The water fund, this is a fund balance appropriation. It doesn't say it, but that's what that is. What we had done sometime back in March or April was meet with the provider of our existing program for our radio reads, a company called Rio. But we had to wait for them to come up with upgrades in order for us to know what we needed in order to upgrade our handhelds in the field. But we have to upgrade our entire water billing software.
So these are the radio devices that allow our people to get the meter readings
Yes, remotely.
without going into your house?
The drive-by, yes.
Right.
And what ended up happening is that the company went in some sort of a transition in product, and we didn't want to buy the old Trimble handhelds because they would have been obsolete and we would have had to have dealt with upgrades. But the bottom line is they're ready now, so we plan on replacing, as we do notoriously, a bunch of meters throughout the village. About $50,000 worth of meters will be replaced, but this other cost is for the software upgrades that we need.
Okay, so just for the record, that second entry, for accounts water fund, should refer to from the water fund fund balance?
Correct.
It's okay with the mover and seconder? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, 172.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign the agreement with Westchester County for a TRAX program for the electronic capture of ticket and accident data and the electronic transfer of said data to the DMV and court.
Is there a second?
Second.
TRAX, Traffic and Criminal Software.
Yeah, it's I don't know if this is a new program the county is asking us, to subscribe to, but we need it for law enforcement purposes. And in order to do that, they need to see an intermunicipal agreement to enable them to allow us under certain terms to access these programs. So basically, that's what it is. We have certain assurances we're giving the county about dealing with electronic ticket data and the types of requests we would make through DMV.
And this is free. It says it's the intention
It
of the
is
New York
free.
State Police
Right,
to provide the track software to any police agency in New York free of charge,
right.
based on New York State Police support staff availability and the lead agency's ability to self-support.
That's correct.
That includes hardware and install, or, I mean,
It,
it looks, I'm scanning the agreement, it looks like it includes all that hardware and operating system
it
associated.
usually does. They,
Yeah.
what they,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they have on occasion provided us with access to their nice pin systems. This is more advanced.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, from when I read this, it seems to me it's more coming out of like the state controller kind of thing, where they're making sure that the court and the police department are on the same page, collecting the fees that they
Right.
collect, that we, it's an accounting process that we go through.
Yeah, it's a system for the electronic capture of ticket and accident
Right.
report data in a police vehicle environment, as opposed to just in a police vehicle.
And it's like follows the
And the
trail.
electronic transfer of that
Right.
data from law enforcement
Exactly.
agencies to DMV and the courts.
it's like what
Right.
other kind of environment
Yeah,
would it be?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right?
right.
We've been working on this. I know that Lieutenant Woolman is getting a grant for two laptops for the cars. We're buying
Uh-huh.
2 others
Good.
for the other
That's great.
vehicles,
Okay.
so we can do a lot of the work, without
Yeah.
coming back and forth.
And it's a joint venture with the state police and the county police as well, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 173, Mindy.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, September 26th, and they are hereby approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Comments or questions about the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. All right, that being the end of our regular resolutions, just remind everybody again that our next meeting is in 2 weeks. We're going to begin that at 7 with a work session that will include BFJ planning, talking about our master plan. And we anticipate that will go till about 8:30, right, Patty?
That's
So
probably
that our regular meeting will begin at 8:30 instead of 8.
Right.
And anyone who's interested in the subject of the master plan, we encourage you to come. You're welcome to be here for the work session at 7. But I also assure you that as we get close to the point of a fairly clear set of recommendations, we'll be having a public hearing as well as televised sessions for people to see what's going on and hear about it. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
No, to go into
Do we need an
executive
executive-
session.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we're going to an executive session. Is there a motion? Hold on a minute here. I closed my agenda.
Matters of
there.
personnel.
Yeah. Is there a motion to go into executive session on matters of personnel?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Off we go to executive session. Thank you. Good night. See you in 2 weeks.